Ever zip up your checked bag and think you're good to go? Here's the thing. Half of what's inside might not make it to your destination. Not because it got lost, because someone in a back room ripped it open and took it out. Some of these items were fine last year. Some were fine last month. And every single one is catching travelers off guard right now. We're pulling back the curtain. Let's go. Remember when you could toss a couple power banks in your checked bag and call it a day? Perfect, right? Wrong. As of April 2026, Southwest limits you to one charger under 100 watt-hours, and it can't go in the overhead bin. It has to be on your person. United and Delta followed with 2 max limits. Singapore Airlines banned in-flight use entirely. An Air China flight got diverted. A BA flight emergency landed in Vegas. 97 lithium battery fires logged by the FAA in 2025 alone. That's a record. Smart luggage was supposed to be the future. Built-in chargers, GPS tracking, the works. United Airlines became the final holdout to join the ban on June 10, 2026. Now every major U.S. carrier, Southwest, American, Delta, JetBlue, United, enforces the same rule. If you can't remove the battery, the entire suitcase is denied boarding. Not the battery. The suitcase. This one's going to surprise you. TSA quietly updated its guidance in spring 2026 to list medical marijuana as permitted in carry-on and checked bags. Sounds like good news? Hold up. Permission does not mean legal. If a screener finds it, they are required to refer it to local law enforcement. Federal law still applies at every airport in the country. You walked up thinking you were compliant. What you got was a referral, exactly how the system was designed. CBD oil, legal in all 50 states, right? Not exactly. TSA allows it under 0.3% THC. But here's what they don't tell you. Customs and Border Protection operates separately. Try bringing it back from an international trip, and CBP can seize it at the border. And the liquid rule still applies, 3.4 ounces max in your carry-on, period. Pepper spray is allowed in checked bags, but the rules are so specific that most travelers get it wrong. Maximum 4 fluid ounces. Safety mechanism required. 1 container per person. Checked bags only. Pack a 6-ounce canister? Confiscated. Pack 1 without safety? Confiscated. 2 containers? 1 gets pulled. Tasers. Stun guns. Most travelers assume they're either completely banned or completely fine. Neither. They're prohibited in carry-on, restricted in checked. They must be packed in a way that prevents accidental discharge. Toss one loosely in your bag without securing it? That's not a packing error. That's a federal violation. Here's one nobody saw coming. June 2026, TSA confiscated a runner's marathon medal. Not banned, not prohibited, but flagged as dangerous based on its shape. A medal, the kind you hang around your neck after running 26.2 miles. It sets a precedent. If it's pointed, if it's edged, if a screener thinks it could be used as a weapon, it's gone. Doesn't matter what it actually is. June 2026. Indianapolis Airport. TSA found smoke grenades hidden inside a peanut butter jar. A peanut butter jar. A friend told me I could get away with it. That's what they always say. Here's the thing. Concealing a banned item isn't a confiscation issue. It's a federal crime. TSA X-ray sees through peanut butter, through jam, through everything. They're not looking for your snacks. They're looking for what you hid behind your snacks. You wrapped the gifts. Carefully. Beautifully. Packed them in your checked bag so they wouldn't get crushed. Here's what happens. TSA opens them. Not because they want to, because they have to. And if they find something prohibited inside, the gift is destroyed. No compensation, no apology, no oops. Just a torn open box and a note. Vapes go in carry-on, always, never checked. But the real trap isn't where you pack it. It's where you fly. Using an e-cigarette on a U.S. flight? Federal fine up to $25,000. But bring one to Mexico? The U.S. Embassy issued a travel alert on June 17th for the FIFA World Cup. Vapes mean $1,000 fines, jail time, and criminal charges. Total confiscation at the border. You walked up to that gate thinking it was just a cigarette. What you got was a criminal record. Exactly how they planned it. Cordless curling iron, flat iron, cordless hairbrush. Millions of travelers pack these every single day without a second thought. But as of June 2026, TSA updated its prohibited list, and these are now banned in checked luggage. The reason? Gas cartridges, butane, and non-removable batteries. Pressure fluctuations, static electricity, and vibrations in the cargo hold can cause gas leaks, fires, or explosions. You packed a styling tool. What you packed was a pressurized gas canister at 35,000 feet. And the fine, for getting it wrong? Up to $12,900. You bought the local spirit, the one they told you was the strongest in the region, wrapped it carefully in your checked bag. You already know alcohol is allowed in checked luggage, so what's the problem? The problem is the proof. Anything over 140 proof, 70% alcohol by volume, is completely banned. Not restricted. Banned. In both checked and carry-on. Grain alcohol, 151 proof rum. That bottle you carried home from the Caribbean? If it's over the line, it's gone. No tasting it, no re-gifting it, no shipping it home. Confiscated, destroyed, and nobody's reimbursing you. Nerf gun, water pistol, toy sword, bubble gun. Sounds harmless, right? In June 2026, TSA went public on social media telling travelers to stop bringing these. Here's the trap. TSA says toy guns are generally permitted in checked bags. Generally. That word does a lot of heavy lifting. Because if a screener decides it looks like a real firearm, and Nerf guns, water pistols, even bubble guns have all been flagged, they can take it. Every single time. The rule isn't banned. The rule is, we'll decide when we see it. And you have zero recourse once they've made that call.
Starting with one that trips up travelers more than you'd expect. Toiletry aerosols like hairspray, shaving cream, and spray deodorant are allowed in your checked bag, but industrial or household aerosols, banned completely. We're talking about spray paint, WD-40, cooking spray, compressed air dusters, and anything with a flammable propellant that isn't a personal care product. TSA knows the difference between Gillette Foamy and Rust-Oleum. If the scanner picks up a non-toiletry aerosol can, your bag gets pulled, opened, and searched. The item gets confiscated, and your bag often ends up delayed. There's an important difference between safety matches and strike-anywhere matches. Safety matches need the special strip on the box to ignite. One book of safety matches is allowed on your person when you fly. Strike-anywhere matches can ignite from friction alone, which means the inside of a suitcase bouncing around in a cargo hold is the perfect environment for them to light up. Strike-anywhere matches are completely banned. Carry-on, checked bag, doesn't matter. They cannot go on the plane in any form. If you've got camping gear or an emergency kit that includes these, take them out before you fly. Don't ruin your entire trip over a 50-cent box of matches. Hikers and outdoor travelers, this one is specifically for you. Bear spray contains concentrated capsaicin or tear gas compounds like CS and CN. If a canister leaks in the cargo hold, it doesn't just affect your suitcase. It can incapacitate the baggage handlers on the ramp. Some airlines do allow a small 4-ounce personal pepper spray in checked luggage if it has a safety mechanism and you specifically declare it at check-in. But bear spray? Most airlines ban it entirely regardless of size, and the policies vary wildly between carriers, so even if one airline allowed it last time, the next one might not. My recommendation is simple. Don't try to fly with it. If you're heading to bear country, buy it when you arrive and leave it behind, or ship it home when you leave. It's not worth the risk of having your entire bag confiscated. You found an amazing bottle of high-proof rum in the Caribbean, or maybe some proper absinthe in Prague, or a jar of local moonshine that your Airbnb host swore was the best in the region. You wrap it in a towel, nestle it in your checked bag, and head to the airport. If that bottle is over 70% ABV, which is 140 proof, it is classified as a hazardous material. To TSA, that's not a beverage, that's fuel. It will be confiscated. You can pack wine, you can pack regular vodka, you can even pack most liquors as long as they fall between 24 and 70% ABV, and they're in containers of 5 liters or less. But the high-octane stuff? Leave it on the island. Or better yet, have the shop ship it to your home address. That vacation souvenir isn't worth a hazmat flag on your luggage. Smokers and outdoor enthusiasts love these plasma arc lighters. They don't use fluid, they use a high-voltage lithium battery to create a purple electrical arc hotter than a flame. You think they're safe because they're flameless, but the TSA classifies them as dangerous arc devices. If the button gets pressed inside your checked bag by shifting luggage, that 1D100-degree arc ignites instantly. It will burn through your clothes and start a fire in the cargo hold. Because of this extreme risk, they are strictly banned from checked luggage. You can only bring one in your carry-on if it has a special safety latch. Without that latch, confiscate it immediately. This is the fastest way to miss your flight and end up in an interrogation room. You might think packing a novelty perfume bottle shaped like a grenade or a funny dynamite alarm clock is a harmless joke. It's not. On an X-ray scanner, density is density. The machine sees the shape of a bomb and the wiring of a detonator. It cannot tell it's a toy. The moment an agent sees that outline, they don't open the bag to check. They shut down the checkpoint and call the bomb squad. Your toy will be destroyed, you will face massive fines, and you could be flagged as a security threat for years. Leave the replicas at home. Smart glasses like the Ray-Ban Metas are exploding in popularity, but wearing them through security is a rookie mistake. These aren't just sunglasses, they are cameras. While not banned from flight, they trigger massive suspicion at checkpoints. TSA agents and customs officers are strictly prohibited from being recorded in secure areas. If the recording light on your frames blinks while an agent is patting you down or checking your passport, you aren't just rude, you are a security risk. They can demand you delete the footage, seize the device for review, or pull you aside for a grueling secondary screening. Put them in the bin, powered off. Number 1 is the most confiscated item in airport history, the power bank. You toss it in your checked bag because it's heavy. Big mistake. Lithium-ion batteries are prone to thermal runaway, meaning they catch fire. If that happens in the cargo hold, the plane goes down. If it charges your phone without a wall outlet, it must go in your carry-on. And check the label. It must be under 100 watt-hours, or TSA will seize it right at the checkpoint. Ladies, listen up. Those fancy new cordless straighteners that run on butane cartridges? TSA hates them. The butane is a pressurized gas. If you put this in a checked bag, it is treated as a hazardous explosive. You can bring one in your carry-on, but it must have a safety cover over the heating element. If you pack a spare butane refill, confiscate it immediately, no exceptions. Seniors love these for cold flights, but they are a trap. The vest itself is just fabric, but the battery pack inside is pure lithium. I see people fold the vest and check it, forgetting the battery is still zipped in the pocket. You can check the vest, but you must unplug and remove the battery and carry it with you in the cabin. Do not leave it connected. So, if you bought a suitcase with a built-in charger or GPS tracker, you really need to be careful. If that battery doesn't pop out, then, well, that bag is not flying. Airlines are stricter than ever about non-removable batteries in 2026. You must be able to eject the battery with just one finger. And if you're forced to gate check your carry-on, you have to rip that battery out before handing it over. If it's stuck, the bag stays behind. These are super popular for anyone with arthritis or poor circulation. But, unlike the old shake-to-activate packets, the electric ones are actually high-density batteries. You need to treat these exactly like a cell phone. They live in your carry-on. Never, ever check them. Now, let's talk about medical gear. Your CPAP machine is expensive, so you carry it on. But what about the spare battery for the flight? Spare medical batteries often exceed the normal size limits. You are allowed to bring them, but they must be in your carry-on and protected from short-circuiting. Use electrical tape over the terminals or keep them in their original box. Never check a loose medical battery. If you use old-school zinc air batteries with the sticker tabs, you can pack those anywhere. But the new rechargeable hearing aid cases? Those have lithium batteries inside the charging case itself. The hearing aids are in your ears, but the charger case must go in your carry-on, not your checked luggage. This is critical. You cannot check a battery-powered POC. The pressure changes in the cargo hold can affect the device, and the batteries are a fire risk. Bring it on board, and ensure you have enough battery life for 150% of the flight duration. Airlines require that buffer in case of delays. This is the most complex rule in travel. If you have a collapsible electric scooter or wheelchair, you cannot just fold it and hand it to the baggage handler. You usually need to disconnect the battery and bring the battery into the cabin with you. The frame goes under. The power source stays with you. Check with your airline 48 hours in advance. Just like the CPAP, the tabletop plug-in nebulizers are fine in checked bags, but the portable handheld ones with built-in batteries, carry on only. If it has a battery you can't see, assume it's dangerous. This one isn't about fire, it's about panic. If your toothbrush turns on inside your checked bag, the vibration sets off alarms. Baggage handlers think it's an improvised explosive device. They will open your bag and tear it apart to find the noise. Tape the power button down or use a hard travel case. Don't let it buzz. Same logic here. A buzzing bag is a suspicious bag. Engage the travel lock if your razor has one. If not, put it in your carry-on so you can prove what it is if it starts making noise. You might think, I'll just read my Kindle at the hotel, so you check it. Don't. Tablets have large, flat batteries that are easily punctured if a heavy suitcase lands on top of them. A punctured battery means a fire. All screens stay in the cabin. It keeps them safe from theft and crushing. There is a huge rumor that Lufthansa and other airlines banned AirTags. They are allowed. The battery inside an AirTag contains only 0.3 grams of lithium. That is well below the danger threshold. You can keep them in your checked luggage to track your bags. They are safe. Finally, the laptop. Sometimes you have to check it because your carry-on is full. If you check it while it's in sleep mode, it can wake up, overheat, and ignite the clothes around it. If you absolutely must check a laptop, power it down completely. Not sleep. Not hibernate. Off. Packing these in the wrong bag isn't just a hassle. It's a safety risk that can cost you thousands in fines. But packing right is only half the battle. You also need to know the new 2026 passport rules that are grounding seniors before they even get to security. Click this video right here to make sure your ID is actually valid. Safe travel.
Everyone is freaking out about the 2026 airline crackdowns, the gate alarms that publicly shame you for boarding early, the laser sizers that reject your carry-on for being 1 centimeter too thick. The news keeps telling you what you can't do anymore. But here's what nobody's talking about. These new rules actually created loopholes for smart travelers. While everyone else is getting gate checked, paying surprise fees, and panicking at the boarding area, I'm going to show you the exact system I use to breeze through every single one of these changes. We're breaking down the 8 biggest 2026 rule changes, not to scare you, but to show you how to use each one to fly better, faster, and cheaper. American Airlines is installing new software at gates across the US that will sound a loud alarm if you try to scan your boarding pass before your group is called. It locks you out, everyone stares, and you have to walk back to the end of the line. It's designed to eliminate what airline staff call gate lice, the people who crowd the boarding area hoping to sneak on early. Now most travelers hear this and think, great, boarding just got more stressful. But here's what I realized. This software actually makes boarding better for you if you know how to use it. I call it the Group 5 Sniper Method. Since the software physically forces the early boarders to sit back down, the gate area is now clearer than it has ever been. So instead of lining up and standing there like everyone used to do, just sit comfortably until the exact second your group is called. Then walk through the wide open lane like a VIP. No crowd, no pushing, no stress. The gate lights were forced to sit down and you get to stroll right through. If you are still using a standard driver's license in 2026, stop. The federal deadline actually passed last year in May 2025. But here's the new rule that started this month, February 1st. If you show up without the star on your ID, you don't just get a warning anymore. You now have to pay a mandatory $45 verification fee right at the security checkpoint. It's called TSA Confirm ID, and they will charge you every single time you fly. So forget the DMV lines. Just use your passport card or prepay the fee online to skip the wait. But here's the thing, if you are still pulling out a plastic ID card in 2026, you're already behind. Delta and United are both rolling out digital ID programs where your face is your boarding pass. You walk up to TSA, look at a camera, and you're through. No digging through your bag, no fumbling with your wallet. Enroll in your airline's biometric ID program now, and you skip the entire Real ID panic altogether. It takes 5 minutes to set up, and it will save you time on every single flight going forward. Airlines are getting much stricter about lithium batteries in 2026, especially the non-removable kind built into smart luggage. If your suitcase has a battery that can't be taken out, it's getting rejected at the gate, period. Instead of traveling with one giant power bank that's borderline too large and risks getting confiscated, switch to what I call the modular power system. Carry 2 slim 10,000 milliamp hour magnetic battery packs. They're well within TSA limits. They stick right to the back of your phone during the flight, and you've got double the charging power without any of the risk. Thanks to new Department of Transportation regulations, airlines must now issue automatic refunds for services you paid for but didn't actually receive. Most people know this applies to canceled flights, but here's what most people don't know. It also applies to Wi-Fi. If you paid $15 for in-flight Wi-Fi and it was too slow to actually use, that counts as a failure of service. Here's exactly what to do. While you're still in the air, run a speed test on your phone and take a screenshot. The second you land, file a refund claim through the airline's app or website. That's an easy $15 to $30 back in your pocket, and it takes about 2 minutes. Flight attendants now have live digital seat maps on their tablets, which means if you quietly move to an empty row after takeoff, they're going to know, and they're going to send you back to your assigned seat. But here's the workaround. About 15 minutes before boarding starts, open the airline app and check the seat map. Look for completely empty rows. Then walk up to the gate agent and politely say,
"I noticed row 34 looks open. Would it be possible to move me there for spacing?"
They almost always say yes because it costs the airline nothing and it makes you happy. You get a poor man's first class completely within the rules, and nobody sends you back to your seat mid-flight.